today we are doing an iceberg of the Disney Channel. Now, if you are not familiar with an iceberg video or stream, it is when you take a subject or fandom and you do a deep dive starting from things, secrets, or rumors, or myths, or history that may be well known toward the surface, and then lesser known or sometimes darker as you get deeper into the water. Of course, we know that most of the iceberg is submerged. Now, if you see all these folks saying hi YouTube in chat and you would like to be amongst them, hey, join us live for these streams when we do them. And while you're here watching this video, subscribe. But today we are going to be diving into the Disney Channel. You've probably seen it. I've seen it as well. Premiering in 1983, the Disney Channel started as a pay for TV service. It was not on basic cable. Much like HBO, you would have to give additional money if you wanted access to the Disney Channel. And over time built up a repertoire of tons of shows. Of course, now we know movies. Hell, we have a whole podcast about the entire library of those movies. It is time for us to get in to layer one of the Disney Channel iceberg. Layer one is up. That was scary. You know, that bumper is called Mickey's Nightmare. We're kicking off with our first entry, which is Zoog Disney. So Zoog Disney is a block of programming that was featured on the Disney Channel. This launched in August of 1998, and originally it only aired on weekend afternoons from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern time. And the hosts of Zoog Disney were these characters you can see on the screen right now. They were animated robots or aliens, and they live in the Zether, and it featured really heavy TV and internet integration where you were encouraged as you were watching to go on to zoogdisney.com and to participate in games, to vote in polls, to leave comments, and then in a ticker style format, the scores that you got or your responses or poll results would show during shows. The catchphrase for Zoog Disney was, "It's not TV you watch, it's TV you do." Now, notably, in the year 2000, the Zoogs were redesigned. They had a cel-shaded look, and they were given, quote, mature voices, which I need you to know that I hate that phrase. But they were not particularly popular, and this version of the Zoogs were discontinued within a year. However, the whole of Zoog Disney was actually then phased out by September 2002. The Movie Surfers. This actually, as a connection to what I was just talking about, this was briefly called Zoog Movie Surfers when it appeared during the Zoog Disney block, but it certainly wasn't limited to the Zoog Disney block. And this was a Disney Channel miniseries where teenagers went behind the scenes of upcoming Disney movies. Actually, it started in 1997, a year before Zoog Disney, and it's lasted long after Zoog Disney ended. Mostly this featured short interstitial content that would run between episodes on the Disney Channel. However, they did have a few specials that went a little bit longer and deeper into movies that were upcoming that were trying to promote that they wanted to show behind the scenes. This ran until 2018 during ad breaks. But even though it was kind of put on hiatus for 6 years, it's back, baby. They are now uploading new Movie Surfers content to the Disney YouTube channel, as you can see with this behind the scenes of Freakier Friday. And they are also actually uploading old Movie Surfers content as it relates to new movies. Next up on our list is the Wand ID bumpers. Now, if you don't know what Wand ID, it's this. It's iconic. I think it is one of the most iconic pieces of Disney Channel. So Wand IDs are introduced on June 1st, 2003.
Hey, what's up? I'm Miley Cyrus from Hannah Montana. You are watching Disney Channel.
So, Disney Channel star uses their wand and they make the shape of the Mickey Mouse ears in the corner and they say, you are watching the Disney Channel. That is the wand ID that I am familiar with. What I didn't know, again, just because I guess stopped watching Disney Channel, in 2015, they changed the wand ID. Now the Disney star actually makes the dot on the I in the word Disney. You don't have to take my word for it. Here's an example.
Hey, what's up? It's Zendaya from KC Undercover, and you're watching Disney Channel. Looking good.
Which is kind of the same, I guess. That lasted until 2025. And this year, they changed it again.
We're from the cast of Vampirina Teenage Vampire, and you're watching Disney Channel.
So now they're back to making the ear shape, and then they do a wipe away with the Disney D, and it just shows the Disney Channel logo. So this is somewhere in the middle of the other two, I guess, but I had no idea that they had changed the wand ID so much. I actually just thought it was gone, because do people watch cable? I do think I am required by law while talking about the wand ID to attempt to do the wand ID, right? What will I use as my wand? Okay, pointer. It's got a Mickey-ish look to it. You know what I mean? This will be my wand. All right, where am I at? Right here. Okay, here's my go. I'm Max, and you're listening to Zetus Lapidus, a Mammoth Club original podcast. I didn't watch myself do it. I didn't really want to know, but I'm sure it was horrible. Spot the Diff, Phineas, and Ferb. Spot the Diff was a 2-hour Phineas and Ferb marathon that first aired in 2008. And the setup of this is that Dr. Doofenshmirtz had created the Changeinator, which allowed him to make various changes to episodes of the show. This is very meta. Then the viewer, they would watch the 4 episodes side by side with the originals, and they would want to find out what was changed. On the Disney Channel website, you could log on and you could download scorecards that listed for each of the episodes a big list of possible changes. Some of them were real changes and some of them were not real changes. And then you would have to, while watching it, mark like yes or no for yourself on the scorecard. So for instance, one of the episodes is called The Fast and the Phineas, which is just a reference that I adore. You can probably spot some differences, right? Then, after you're done watching, you would go back to the website where you got the scorecard and you would take a quiz. And if you got all of the answers correct, then you would unlock downloadable content like wallpapers and buddy icons, which just hearing the term buddy icon propelled me back to a very specific time of my life. High School Musical 2. High School Musical 2 is not on this iceberg because I think in any world you don't know what High School Musical 2 is. But something you may or may not know about High School Musical 2 is that High School Musical 2 is the most successful Disney Channel original movie in terms of popularity and accolades. High School Musical 2 debuts on August 17th, 2007. 17.2 million people tuned in and watched High School Musical 2, which set a current long-standing record for the highest rated television premiere in the history of the channel, which is kind of insane. And our final entry on layer 1, DuckTales. Now, you're probably familiar with DuckTales, but the reason DuckTales is on the iceberg is that DuckTales was actually the first official Walt Disney Television animation project to premiere and air on the Disney Channel. DuckTales airs in 1987. And a lot of people, when they think about Disney animated television, think of the adventures of Gummy Bears as the first. And technically it was produced first, but it aired on NBC. That wraps up layer number 1. We're moving on to layer 2. Still pretty broad. Walt Disney. I have such distinct memories of Walt Disney because especially in the summer, I had a rule in my home. I was allowed to have the television on, but I had to be in bed at a certain time. And so I would often stumble upon Walt Disney. If you are not familiar with Walt Disney, it premiered in 1997, and originally it only aired on Sunday nights, actually, which is something I didn't know, from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. So, starting in 1999, at midnight, the Disney Channel would change over to be Walt Disney, and it would feature sort of like vintage Disney content. When I say vintage, what I mean is like original Mickey Mouse Club, Zorro, Spin and Marty, right? Some older Disney original live action movies. And it was aimed at an older audience that might actually be awake, or Max laying in bed desperately wishing to have something age appropriate to watch at 1 o'clock in the morning. It also, most importantly to me, every night when it was time to become Walt Disney, the block itself had what I believe is the best intro of all time. My guy, J. Thaddeus Toad Esquire, making an entry appearance. Right out the door, there he is. Now, why is he here? God knows. I never saw him once on the channel, but there he is. But I actually just love this intro in general. David Crockett. So that is the intro to Walt Disney. The programming block would go on to be canceled, with Disney instead choosing to run reruns all night long. Disney Channel All-Star Party. Now, Disney Channel All-Star Party is a video game. I'm gonna read the press release. Disney Channel All-Star Party, to bring all your favorite Disney Channel shows and stars together in one game for the first time on Wii. Disney Interactive Studios today announced Disney Channel All-Star Party is in development exclusively for Nintendo's Wii console. The game will provide fans a truly immersive experience as Disney Channel worlds collide for the first time, allowing players to explore 7 different locations and interact with characters from their favorite Disney Channel shows and movies, including The Wizards of Waverly Place, The Sweet Life on Deck, Hannah Montana, Sunny with a Chance, Jonas LA, Phineas and Ferb, and Camp Rock 2, the final jam like never before. And by like never before, what I really mean is this is Mario Party. This is definitely not a reskinned Mario Party that you play as characters from your favorite Disney Channel shows. Flash Forward. Now, Flash Forward is a television show that started airing on December 14th, 1995. If you've never seen this show, Flash Forward follows the lives of 2 best friends and neighbors. They're in the 8th grade. Their names are Tucker and Rebecca. It goes on to run for 2 years and 26 episodes. It actually runs for a little bit longer than that, not with new episodes, but in syndication across a couple of different channels. But it's particularly notable because Flash Forward, again, we're talking about milestones here, is the first Disney Channel original series ever made. So a brand that would go on to include like Lizzie McGuire and even Stevens and That's the Raven, Hannah Montana, started with Flash Forward. This is the first Disney Channel original series ever created. Imagineer That. Imagineer That is an interstitial miniseries that was hosted by a robot by the name of Tom Morrow 2.0. Tom Morrow not only can be seen as this interstitial character in the Disney Channel, but actually Tom Morrow was the host and the mascot of Innoventions at Epcot from the years 2000 to 2007. Here is, if you've never seen it before, one of the episodes, one of the interstitials of Imagineer That.
Ever wonder how Disney dreams become reality? It's something called Imagineering.
Where's the best place to sit on a Disney ride?
The best place to sit? Well, Bridget, sit back and hold on. Listen, here's the scoop. There are 3 rules of riding. The front seat isn't always the best seat. Sure, the front's the first to go over, but when the back goes over, it really goes over!
The like Kermit arms of it all made me laugh the first time I saw that.
I'm the guy who rides 1,000 times in every seat to figure out what'll make the ride better.
How about here on Countdown to Extinction?
I picked this video specifically because I was so delighted by it being called Countdown to Extinction. Pour one out as we are nearing the final days of Dino Land.
The wildest rides are in the back, left, and right of the vehicle. But some of the biggest surprises are up in the front.
Damn, remember when that car tourist actually worked? All right, so that's Imagineer That. If you've never seen it before, what a delight. I also, though, am happy to tell you, he's back. There are new episodes of Imagineer That, once again, being uploaded to the Imagineering YouTube channel. Very random, I think. I also have to tell you, chat, that again, when I do this research for these icebergs, I never know what I'm going to discover. And sometimes I see a blurb and I'm like, well, I can't just leave that be. Because I read a blurb on a Disney wiki about Tom Morrow 2.0. And it said, and I quote, "At some point in the 2000s, Tom Morrow 2.0 came under the possession of RoboMart, a subsidiary of the evil alien corporation XS Tech." And I thought, the f did I just read? So I have tried to find what they are referencing. And I did find their intention, and I found a video of the thing, but I couldn't put it together. We're going deep here, all right? XS Tech is the evil corporation that was featured in Alien Encounter Extraterrestrial at the Magic Kingdom. They apparently have a subsidiary called RoboMart. I actually, you know what? I didn't put this in here, but I'm going to show it to you. In 2009, there is a show that is in Tomorrowland called Stitch's Supersonic Celebration. It's like Turtle Talk with Crush. It was on the Tomorrowland stage, and you would get to talk to Stitch. It was interactive with a digital Stitch character. Now, this show was always doomed to fail. Why? Well, because, chat, it took place outdoors on black asphalt in the summer of Florida. However, what I've come to understand is that this quote that I read was an allusion to the pre-show. Yeah, there's a pre-show of this. Someone was kind enough to film the pre-show of Stitch's Supersonic Celebration. There is a segment in this pre-show where they talk about RoboMart having issues with some animatronic figures that they are selling. And they make a reference to the Timekeeper. Tom Morrow was not connected there, but he is included in the pre-show of Stitch's Supersonic Celebration, all right? Because he is featured as the Galactic Weatherman.
Meteorological cybernetic Tom Morrow.
Greetings and salutations, travelers, visitors, and native species. As we look out into the cosmos, several patterns are emerging over the upcoming future. Be aware of a 30% chance of wormholes over the next lunar day as you travel through the galaxy.
I don't know if the implication here is that by being included in this show, he must be owned by XS Tech because they put on the Tomorrowland News Network. That may be true. I don't totally understand who runs the Tomorrowland News Network, but I couldn't find anything that directly linked Tom Morrow 2.0 to XS Tech. But you should know that it's at least on the table that he is owned by an alien corporation. Disney Channel Premiere Films. I actually don't have anywhere to go for it here because I'm just going to tell you what it is. We now know these as DCOMs, all right? But originally, in 1983, Disney produced their first movie specifically for the Disney Channel. They were not called Disney Channel Original Movies. They were called Disney Channel Premiere Films. This is on here as just the title of what the first bundle of movies that came out under the channel were called. And finally, our final entry of Layer 2, Under Wraps. I do hope you know what Under Wraps is, but if you don't, in 1997, right, I just talked about Disney Channel Premiere Films. Disney rebranded Disney Channel Premiere Films to the name that you and I know and love, Disney Channel Original Movies, and the first ever movie released under the newly branded Disney Channel Original Movie is Under Wraps, being released on October 25th, 1997. This movie, of course, gave us here at Mammoth Club the Mamussi. It gave us the Gilbert scale. It gave us the knowledge of how to steal a mummy from a museum. But if you want to know more about Under Wraps and all of the different DCOMs, don't listen to me talk on this iceberg. You should go listen to Zeus Lapidus, a Mammoth Club original podcast, where we kicked it off with Under Wraps and then went and listened to every single DCOM that has been released up until the most recent one, and both versions of Under Wraps. And that brings us to the end of layer 2, everyone, and we are on to layer 3. Welcome to layer 3, 9/11 interstitials. Actually, before I can talk about the 9/11 interstitials, I need to first talk about express yourself interstitials. So obviously a lot of what we were talking about here are the content that's happening between the episodes of shows, right? And they were really invested in connecting the audience with the stars of their shows and movies, right? And so they launched a series in the interstitial format called Express Yourself. It was a mini series that followed a bunch of different topics. They would talk about everything from the music that they liked, to the hobbies that they had, to the food that they really connected with. And I'm just going to show you what the vibe of one of the original Express Yourself promos were.
Oh my gosh, I love clothes.
Clothes? I'm into clothes.
I love clothes. I'm not up on fashion or clothes.
I am a slave to clothes.
I could care less about clothes, you know. It's gotta be comfortable.
I basically wouldn't wear clothes if it wasn't necessary.
That adds up, by the way.
I love shopping at the malls.
I spend way too much money on clothes.
If it doesn't cost that much, I will get it.
Every paycheck I get, that's what I spend it on.
I'm not really into money. I like to save my money. I guess you can call me cheap.
I like being in my shorts when surfing. That's when I feel most clothed.
My favorite fantasy mall.
So you get the vibe, right? After the events of September 11th, there was a notable shift in the tone of the Express Yourself interstitials. The vibe changed very significantly. There was a real focus on unity. There was a lot of flags represented. Again, I don't need to just tell you about it. Let me just give you an idea. I also want you to notice the end of that interstitial. It said, "Kids like you express yourself every single day on Disney Channel." You'll notice that the ending of this next one is a little bit different as well.
I've just noticed little acts of kindness. I know when I'm driving, I'll let someone kind of cut in front of me, or I'll hold the door for someone, you know, even if they're like a couple of steps behind me.
I'll wave to people, you know, if someone looks like they're having a bad day, you know, I'll be like, hi.
I think for me personally, it's made me a little more patient.
I'm more loving now towards everybody.
I believe peace is contagious. You've got peace, you give it to someone else, they catch it, and then they spread it around.
It's just a spirit of generosity. Even on the streets in traffic in LA, there's a patience that I can see it, I can feel it.
The little things in life that used to annoy me just don't.
Now, more than ever, it's important for people like you to express themselves every day.
So you notice that even the tagline at the end, now more than ever, it's important for people like you to express yourselves every day. This has been talked about a lot. This real big tone shift. I don't really know what I want to say about it, except that having lived it, I think it felt really normal. And even kind of looking back on it, knowing the time, it feels really normal. But especially if you didn't live through it, when people talk about it and they see it, they're like, holy shit, is this like heavy-handed, like, it like feels like propaganda in a totally different vibe. The all new Mickey Mouse Club cast. This entry is talking about this group of people, the all new Mickey Mouse Club, which a lot of folks know is chock full of pop royalty that would go on to be so iconic, as well as actors and actresses have been very popular and more. So if you have never seen the cast of the all new Mickey Mouse Club, well, Justin Timberlake is in it, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, JC Chazé, Carrie Russell, Ryan Gosling, just kind of notable for the density of people that were in this cast that would go on to be extremely influential in the next several years as they got a little bit older. What's What is a special edition of movies that were aired on the Disney Channel where they would take DCOMs and they would pop up facts and secrets throughout. They would air just a regular DCOM, like here is the High School Musical 2 What's What edition. And then throughout watching the movie as normal, here's from Jump In, they would have little facts that would pop up and would tell you about what was happening in the scene or little BTS information, things that were going on in the filming. I didn't know that this existed. I don't think I ever watched a What's What edition of a movie. Speaking of a movie that I had not seen, Tiger Town. Now, earlier I talked about Disney Channel premiere films and that those kicked off in 1983. And that very first Disney Channel premiere film is Tiger Town. It features Roy Scheider of Jaws fame as an aging baseball player for the Detroit Tigers, and Justin Henry from Kramer vs. Kramer as Alex, a young fan that believes in this baseball player. You can then extrapolate that and say, this is the first made-for-television film Disney ever produced. Our final entry of the layer, Disney Channel Interactive Dish Games. This is a weird one. Beginning in 2007, this is the only picture I could find, there was a service that was offered by the Dish Network. You know the Dish Network? Where if you had the Dish Network, you could use your remote to go to channel 100, which was like Dish Home. And from Dish Home, you could navigate to the Disney Channel Interactive Dish Games, and you could use your remote to play mini games that were related to Disney Channel shows. There's not a lot of information about this. There are some reports of what the games are, but I actually have footage of one of the games. Somebody was kind enough to upload a camera of their television of the Tipton Token Face Off, a Sweet Life of Zack and Cody game being played by remote. Which is definitely not Connect 4. So clearly that's some riveting gameplay right there. That brings us to the end of layer 3, and we're on to layer 4.
Aisle 4 is now open for checkout.
I hear that you are here for everything.
Welcome to layer 4, everybody. And we are kicking it off with one that I am quite excited about. I gotta tell you. This layer is a weird one. Welcome to Pooh Corner. I hope that some of you all have never seen this before. Welcome to Pooh Corner is a launch day show for the Disney Channel. This show, as you can see, features characters from the Winnie the Pooh universe, portrayed by actors in human-sized costumes, the exception being Roo, a traditional puppet. The costumes had animatronics in them, and those animatronics were created by Ken Forsey. Ken Forsey would go on to create Teddy Ruxpin. And honestly, that adds up when you... There are a couple notable things about the cast of this. So Hal Smith, Will Ryan, and Lori Main are the only actors from the original Winnie the Pooh shorts that would go on to reprise their roles. And this is one of the rare occasions where Tigger is voiced by neither Paul Winchell or Jim Cummings. It's a different actor for Tigger. Very rare. I was also able to find some fun backstage photos. Like here's Winnie the Pooh. I am particularly delighted by his shoe covers. Here's Rabbit and Owl hanging out backstage, it looks like. Just big chilling. And I see some of you saying you're horrified. I will admit that it was at this moment that I decided I was horrified as well. And mostly because, I know that I am developing a reputation for taking a certain type of photo and putting it on the internet. But I need you to know that I did not do anything with these pictures. I am showing you the exact photo that I had to see I didn't zoom into this. And I will tell you, I hate it. So I'm not a fan at all. There are a lot of episodes of Welcome to Pooh Corner. It ran for 3 seasons with 120 listed episodes. And that doesn't count several educational episodes, such as the special Too Smart for Strangers, which I do want to show you a clip of, because while I think this is an important sentiment to teach children and an important lesson for them to learn, I also think it is so strange coming out of the mouth of Pooh Bear.
Well, that was certainly interesting.
Yes, it was. But, oh, I hate to mention it, Pooh. I really do. But I think we should tell our friends that danger doesn't always come from strangers. It can be from someone you know.
Oh, Piglet, you're right. People you see every day might want to touch you, and sometimes that's dangerous.
Oh, what do you mean, Pooh?
Yeah, so again, while I agree that this is an important thing to educate children about, I cannot understate how important and critical I take that issue. I do think that it is weird coming out of Winnie the Pooh's mouth. Pooh doesn't wear pants. A weird narrator to deliver that line. Anyway. That is the right vibe, though, for where we're going next. No Sugar Sugar. No Sugar Sugar is the name of a Hannah Montana episode that was planned to be the 30th and final episode of the 2nd season. However, due to, quote, an inaccurate depiction of diabetes, the episode was reshot and renamed to Uptight, in parentheses, Oliver's All Right, that would go on to be the 23rd episode of the 3rd season. This episode was pulled due to complaints from parents that belonged to the nonprofit Children with Diabetes organization after they watched a sneak peek of the episode. Parents of the org saw the episode being in poor taste and completely misinformed in its main topic. Notably, the original version did get pulled from air, but it was aired internationally. They didn't change anything. They let it run. It actually did run during a rerun block of the show in 2016. Probably just as a programming error. No one really knows. All right, this is going to go into a slew of some episodes that have some kind of controversial piece of them. Party It Up and Colby Calais. So Party It Up and Colby Calais are from 2 different shows. Party It Up is a Shake It Up episode, and Colby Calais is a So Random episode. If you're not familiar with So Random, it's like a sketch show, like SNL, you know, that kind of vibe. It featured Colby Calais as the guest star, so it was called Colby Calais. So in Party It Up, there was a joke made by a model who said, quote, "I could just eat you up. Well, if I ate," and then laughed. And in the So Random episode, there was a character that made a joke about how they, quote, ate 1 full meal a week because his, quote, agent's always on him about looking his best. And if he eats too many carbs, he won't get the jobs. These jokes went on to cause Demi Lovato, former Disney Channel star, to tweet these 2 tweets. I find it really funny how a company can lose one of their actresses from the pressures of an eating disorder and yet still make a joke about it. And then she quoted, "I could just eat you up. Well, if I ate," from Disney Channel's Shake It Up. What are we promoting here? Hashtag not funny at all. This would go on to cause these episodes to be pulled because of Demi tweeting about the poor taste of the jokes as it relates to eating disorders. And then finally, in this sort of 3-part, Quitting Cold Koala. Quitting Cold Koala is the 20th episode of season 2 of the show Jessie, aired July 4th of 2013. Originally, this episode was scheduled to premiere on May 17th, but it actually got delayed because the original version had references to gluten restrictions in a character's diet, and it was deemed offensive in a sneak peek, and so it had to be redone and edited, and then it was released later again in July 4th of 2013. This character in the bottom left, the one with the glasses, apparently their name is Stuart, and they have gluten intolerance, and there are multiple jokes at the expense of this character about their gluten intolerance, including one where apparently pancakes were tossed at the character's face while another character said, "Gluten, gluten, gluten," and just threw pancakes at them. So I don't know, man. And finally, a different vibe to pull us out of this layer, ooh and ah. Ooh and ah are these monkeys. Monkeys. These guys originally debuted as the main characters in a series of shorts called Ooh, Ah, and You before they ended up becoming the mascots and hosts of Playhouse Disney. First time they ever appeared on Playhouse Disney was March 30th, 2007, and there were interstitials that would run between all the Playhouse Disney shows until the day before the Disney Junior rebrand happened. Between episodes of Playhouse Disney, Ooh and Ah would have a bunch of different bumper themes, right? So they had like a spin the wheel theme that would pop up, Jungle Jumble, Pull the Vine, but the one I'm going to talk about today is called Monkey Mail. There was a regular segment called Monkey Mail that would feature these two guys receiving a letter from a Playhouse Disney character that would be promoting the next show that was going to come on in the lineup. So I'm going to give you an example.
Did the monkey mail come?
Did the monkey mail come?
Yes, the monkey mail came.
Well, who's it from? It's from Handy Manny.
And it says, hola.
That means hello.
Handy Manny is coming up
on Playhouse Disney.
So what's interesting about the Monkey Mail segment is that because it was referencing the next show to come on, Ooh and Ah ran for quite some time. There are a lot of variety of the Monkey Mail bumper because each one features a different character, and they couldn't just run a generic Monkey Mail bumper that was going to go into Little Einsteins or that would go into Imagination Movers. So a lot of these have been found. Obviously, I just ran for you the Handy Manny one, but because there are so many different ones that might feature the Doodle Bops or My Friend Tigger and Pooh or the Little Einsteins, a lot of these bumpers that are believed to exist are now considered lost media. I'm now sort of introducing another theme of a lot of this iceberg, which is lost media, right? Pieces of content that have not been uploaded, that have not been saved over time. That brings us to the end of layer 4, and we move on to layer 5. All right, welcome to layer 5, everybody. So our first entry in layer 5, Disney Snap. Disney Snap was a one-off Disney Channel special that debuted in 2012 that was hosted by Doug Brochu and Michael Smith from Sunny with a Chance and featured a professional hypnotist named Ricky Howman.
Is your mom always on the phone?
Hey, Marie, it's Trisha.
Does your dad tell you to clean up over and over?
It's easier if you lay down like a paper towel.
Guess what? That's all about to change.
I'm Brandon. And I'm Doug. That's Ricky Howman, world-famous hypnotist.
With Just a Snap, the new special that puts parents under your spell.
Have you ever seen him like this? No.
Snap! Premieres Friday, April 6th at 8:30, 7:30 Central on Disney Channel.
Oh my gosh. So cool.
So cool. This is a prank show of sorts where this professional hypnotist, Ricky Howman, would hypnotize parents to do embarrassing things. Clearly at this time, Disney was trying to get on the reality TV show train. There was a show in 2011 called Prank Stars where children or teen would be set up by their parents or friends to meet a celebrity that they liked in some kind of wacky or humorous setting. Feels a little punked-esque. And then there was also a show called Code 9 that aired in 2012 where one family member would go undercover to prank unsuspecting parents. Both those shows did not do well. Disney Snap was a one-off special. There is some belief that this show was meant to do an actual show and that they were sort of testing an idea, and it reportedly only aired one time ever. It is not available online. And so, again, continuing the theme, this special of Disney Snap is considered lost media at this point. Sing Me a Story with Belle. This is a fun one. I like this one a lot. This is a live action series that premiered on September 8th in 1995. In the setup of this, Belle lives in France. She owns a music and a bookshop. There were some original characters like Lewis and Carol, magical bookworms. There was Harmony the cat. There was Big book, and then the bookstore is visited by local children, and Belle will often tell or sing stories to those kids. Usually they have a moral that fit a situation that's happening at the shop or with the children, right? So here is a picture from the show, a promo picture of Belle and Harmony the cat and Big Boot. One of the things you should know about the show is that part of why it exists is that the FCC has a requirement around educational content on a channel that's aimed at kids, right? Disney has all of this really high quality animation, but they can't just put the high quality animation on the channel because it's not considered educational content. And so by having Belle tell these stories, talk over them, and connect them to a moral, they are able to repurpose high quality animation. And because they have Belle talk about it and connect it to a learning lesson, it is considered to be approved by the FCC. This is going to continue my lost media trend because it is known that there are 26 episodes of this show that were produced, but currently only 20 of them have been found. I'd love to see this get put on Disney Plus. Why is this not on Disney Plus? Tailspin Phil Harris. Sometimes, because of the timing of something, I think about what would this iceberg be if I had done it 6 months prior to now. And in this instance, there wouldn't really be a story here. Jungle Book comes out in 1967, and Phil Harris is the original voice of Blue. If you watch Tailspin, which came out in 1990, he is not the voice of Tailspin. Ed Gilbert is the voice of Blue in Tailspin. So when Tailspin's being created, the creators actually had Phil Harris record a test about doing the voice Blue. However, after the test recordings, it was determined by the creators of the show that Phil had lost some of his comedic timing and that his voice had changed too much with age. And so they decided to go in a different direction, recasting Blue and not using the original voice of Blue any longer for Tailspin. It was unclear how much Harris had recorded. There were some sources that said that Harris had only done 1 episode. There were some sources that had said that Harris did 5 episodes, but we don't actually know. However, 6 months ago, this post is made by user Kind Significance 163 on the Lost Media subreddit. It says, Phil Harris audio recordings for Tailspin. And it describes what I just talked to you about. And under this post, user Tweedlebum comments, I have the early Tailspin recordings in my collection. It's not lost. It's just not released. Which is like, that's a crazy thing to just say on Reddit, right? To which naturally they say, really? And user Tweedlebum posts this photo. The text is quite small on these tapes, but I will read it to you because it says Tailspin, Master, Disney, and then it has quotes around episode titles on each of these tapes. And the user says there are 3 different episode titles on here. Time Waits for No Bear, A Bad Reflection on You, and I Only Have Ice for You. The user Tweedlebum says that they were only missing the 4th episode. The 4th episode is called A Touch of Glass. They have also said that the tapes are in good condition and it is their intention to release them. You know, listen, I'm seeing skepticism in chat right now. They're saying this is really easy to fake. Sure, it is. I don't guess I know why you would fake this just to post it on Reddit, on a random Lost Media subreddit. It seems like a lot of work, but maybe you're right. All I hope is that they get released. Breakfast with Bear. Breakfast with Bear is a spin-off series of Bear in the Big Blue House that aired as part of the Playhouse Disney block. Each episode, Bear would go to the home of a different child following their morning ritual. It would often start with a surprise wake-up call and end with breakfast or them heading out to school. This show premiered on June 20th, 2005 and aired for about a year until September 15th of 2006. There were 20 episodes filmed. 10 of them were in New York and 10 of them were in Los Angeles. 5 original songs from this spin-off series were released on a Playhouse Disney CD, but of the 20 episodes that were produced, less than half of them are currently available on the internet. A lot of this series of Bear is lost media. That's right. Dumbo's Circus. This show premiered on May 6th of 1985 and was loosely based on 1941's Dumbo. And by loosely, I mean the only character from the movie it features is Dumbo. This show uses the same costume style as Welcome to Pooh Corner, and it featured a variety of new characters. So it features Lionel, who is a high-pitched Brooklyn accented lion, as well as the popcorn vendor and the ticket taker. It is my understanding that Lionel kind of sounds like Timothy Mouse, and it inspired by Timothy Mouse. But of course, we wouldn't include Timothy Mouse. That would be too close to the original Dumbo. Then we've got Sebastian, not in this photo. We've got Lily. Lily is a beautiful cat that serves as the tightrope walker for Dumbo Circus. And we have QT. QT is a slow-witted but good-natured orangutan who is the resident strongman and calliope player. Other characters that we've got, Sebastian. Don't worry, I'm gonna talk about Sebastian a little bit more in just a second. Sebastian is a purple alley cat that's usually reduced to janitorial duties and likes to nap. Sebastian also has a ventriloquist dummy named Sly. Then we've got Fair Dinkum. Fair Dinkum is a koala that serves as the ringmaster of the circus. And finally, we've got Barnaby Bowser, a goofy dog who is the clown and magician of the circus, going by the name Barnaby the Great. And Barnaby speaks with a southern accent. Now, I do need to just zoom in on Sebastian. Here's Sly, Sebastian's ventriloquist dummy. I'm sure you all love that. Sebastian, I read a note that said that when the series started, Sebastian was just wearing short pants, his hat and a vest, and then a few episodes later, they put a shirt on him. I am going to admit to you something, chat, which is that it was my intention to show you the original Sebastian. And I went as far as Googling like original Sebastian Dumbo Circus, release Sebastian Dumbo Circus. But as I started to type shirtless, I started feeling weird about it, and I said, it's not worth it. I'm good. Actually, we can imagine what it would look like without a shirt on. This show runs for 115 episodes, but it never, in its very long run, it never received any home media release of any kind. No VHS release. Only a very few episodes have been saved. We are counting on people recording this show on a VCR. Reruns stopped in 1997, and most episodes of the 115 produced are lost media. Our final entry of the fifth layer, the 65th episode rule. This is a weird one, honestly, to follow after Dumbo, where I just told you that it ran for 115 episodes, but Dumbo is a bit of an exception to the 65th episode rule. If you're not familiar with the 65th episode rule, I don't have an image for you here. This is a controversial rule that after a Disney show was greenlit, the show could not exceed 65 episodes. There was no possible renewal opportunity. And this affected a lot of shows that were quite popular and that you may know and love. Shows like Lizzie McGuire, Even Stevens, Pepper Ann, The Famous Jet Jackson, and more. Why 65 episodes? Thank you for asking, Chet. So I'm going to ask you to do math for just a second. With 65 episodes, one episode can be broadcast each weekday, and you'll reach the 65th episode at the end of the 13th week. All right. So 5 episodes a day for 13 weeks, 65 episodes. 13 weeks is 1/4 of the year. So 4 65 episode shows could be broadcast in the course of 1 calendar year. So this affected a lot of Disney Channel shows, but That's So Raven actually broke the mold. That's So Raven was so popular that they extended the run to 100 episodes. It actually is so popular that it went on to have a spin-off series, Cory in the House, and a sequel series, Raven's Home. Once Raven broke the mold, once That's So Raven got 100 episodes, they sort of put this rule to bed. They stopped caring about the rule after they committed to the 100 episodes with That's So Raven. So that is the end of the 5th layer, and we move on to layer 6.
Chip off the old block.
All right, welcome to layer 6, everyone. Dream Finders. Hey, you all probably know the name Dream Finders. You might even have an idea of what this may be about. Dream Finders was a show that was initially planned as a launch show for the Disney Channel Network. When it started in 1983, the intention was to have a show called Dreamfinders. It was promoted. It was based on the Journey into Imagination attraction at Epcot, and it would feature Dreamfinder under the alias Old Eli and Figment, taking children on adventures through the realms of imagination. Here is the promotional material that they put out for it. Look at this press release. Imagination Unleashed! Each episode finds a cast of children in a real-world setting confronted with a perplexing dilemma. Old Eli, the all-knowing dream finder, whisks children away on a magical journey to the realm of imagination. They are free of worldly constraints. The children use their ideas and dreams to find a creative solution to their problem. The journey is not without peril. Travelers through imagination are always fair prey for the ever-present villain Fear. They persistently attempt to lead Old Eli and the children into the abyss of bewilderness. Created especially for young people by the Disney Imagineers, designers of Disneyland, Walt Disney World, and Epcot Center, Dreamfinders is a weekly 1-hour adventure about the imagination and creativity in us all. You can see they were so confident that this show was going to come out. They have the air times for Dreamfinders. This image on the right is actually from the Disney Channel countdown. When the channel went live, they had Dreamfinder as part of it because, again, they were certain that this was going to happen. Now, according to screenwriter Doug Williams, who actually wrote the first episode that was titled Just in Time, just as the show was building ahead of steam. Now, chat, you've been with me for other icebergs. If we go back in time to the Disney Parks Iceberg, there was a theme that was a reason why many of the ideas either happened or didn't happen. A certain leader in Disney history, CEO changes right, just as the show was building ahead of steam, Michael Eisner took over as the head of Disney Studios and shut down production for no apparent reason other than it was/is common practice when there's a change of power. So the show dies because Michael Eisner becomes the CEO of Disney and kills it. Zombies and Cheerleaders. Zombies and Cheerleaders is an unproduced series and unaired pilot from 2011. Look at it, everyone. The synopsis of this series, let me read it to you. Let's see if it sounds familiar. This story follows Zed Necrodopoulos, a typical high school student with one small caveat. He happens to be a zombie. Despite a high-tech wristwatch designed to curb any appetite that he may have for his classmates, he and his zombie friends remain unpopular with the school's most influential group, the pom-pom wielding cheerleaders. Never one to back down from a challenge, Zed sets out to improve zombie student body relations and win the attention of Addison, the cheerleading squad's newest member. This show featured Luke Benward as Zed Necrodopoulos and Maya Mitchell as Addison Wells. A pilot was created in 2011 that has not been aired. This series would not be created and would remain dormant for 7 years before it got restructured as the DCOM you and I love, known as Zombies, released in 2018. Isn't it wild? Isn't that a wild thing that this almost was a TV series? What's Stevie Thinking? What's Stevie Thinking is an unaired spinoff of Lizzie McGuire. After the Lizzie McGuire movie happens, there was a plan to create a spinoff involving Lelaine's character, Miranda Sanchez. For the spinoff, the creators of Lizzie McGuire decided that instead of centering it around Miranda, they were going to center it around a new character named Stephanie Stevie Sanchez, who is the younger sister of Miranda. And it would follow the Sanchez family who would move to Australia to help support wildlife conservation. And allegedly, Stevie would have an animated persona to voice her inner thoughts, much like the original Lizzie character would. The pilot was filmed in February of 2005, and a very famous actress that would go on to be a Disney Channel star was cast as Stevie, with Selena Gomez originally connected to the role of Stevie Sanchez. This would have been her first Disney Channel role, but unfortunately, Disney decided to opt for the only other show that got pitched at that time, Hannah Montana. as they only had room for one new teen sitcom that year, and they opted to go for Hannah Montana instead of the Lizzie McGuire spinoff, What's Stevie Thinking? The pilot of this has not surfaced. We've lost it. It is lost media. But clips of Selena's audition tapes for this were included on a DVD of Wizards of Waverly Place and in an episode of True Hollywood Story. So there is footage of Selena auditioning for the role of Stevie that are out there. Arwen. Arwen is another unproduced spinoff. This one of The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody that would not feature Dylan or Cole Sprouse at all, and it would instead focus on the eccentric engineer of the Tipton Hotel, Arwen Hochhauser. Hochhauser? I don't know. So this is a spinoff of The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody that would just abandon the two child stars and instead decide to follow the engineer of the hotel. Here's the thing, though. The show would pick up Arwen as he left the Tipton Hotel. Why keep the setting that everyone knows and loves with any of the characters that anyone is aware of? And he would move in with his sister to help raise her 3 kids, characters that no one would have any connection to. I know this is going to come as a great shock to you all, but instead the series was not picked up because Disney decided to go with the other proposed Sweet Life spinoff, The Sweet Life on Deck, that actually did focus on their main child stars and all of the recognizable characters in the canon of that story. I'm certain I don't know why they didn't choose to pursue Arwen. And our final entry of this 6th layer is Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme. This is just a weird one. Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme premiered on May 19th, 1990, and is a musical television movie and a complete fever dream. This movie follows Gordon Goose, who is the son of Mother Goose. Gordon Goose is unhappy that he must live in Rhymeland. He feels like he doesn't fit in with the denizens, or the Rhymies as they are called, and views them as too weird for his liking. And let me tell you, for what it's worth, I agree. Gordon comes across Little Bo Peep, played by Shelley Duvall, who informs him that Mother Goose and Bo Peep's sheep have gone missing, and the pair journey to find them and discover that several other Rhymies have disappeared. The movie features many actors and musicians as characters, and I just wanted to show you a couple of them. One of them is, again, Shelley Duvall. Another notable inclusion, Woody Harrelson as Lou the Lamb. And then my least favorite, and the one that I need you all to see, Howie Mandel as Humpty Dumpty. And that brings us to the end of the 6th layer. Let's head to where it really is going to start getting weird, the 7th layer of the iceberg. All right, welcome to the 7th layer of the iceberg, everyone. This one is starting off with one of my favorite discoveries. Minnie Takes Care of Pluto. Now, Minnie Takes Care of Pluto is a Minnie Mouse cartoon, although even though it's called Minnie, it really is more focused on Pluto, to be honest. It probably is a Pluto cartoon, I would say. But it aired as part of Mickey Mouse Works. Mickey Mouse Works was a television series that ran from May 1st, 1999 to December 16th of 2000. And it featured Mickey and Friends shorts in like short segments, right? Animated segments. You know the type, but all Mickey and Friends. So this is a short that was created for Mickey Mouse Works. And it follows Pluto after Mickey drops him off unexpectedly at Minnie's house. And when an irritated Minnie Mouse tells Pluto to stay out of her way, Pluto has a devil conscience that convinces him that Minnie is going to kill him. The short was pulled due to complaints about it being frightening. And I'm going to leave that up to you, Chad. I did pull the references that they made when they pulled this episode. And again, all of these are Pluto's devil conscience that are putting visions into his head, right? Again, it was pulled due to complaints about being frightening, including when poison is put into Pluto's dog bowl while Minnie laughs maniacally and Pluto's remains are shown in the bowl. There's also when Minnie buries Pluto alive. Or if that's not to your taste, how about when Minnie kills Pluto with a mace? Or finally, if none of those have been to your liking, how about we go in a J. Thaddeus Toad direction here when the short gets on the other side to concluding with Pluto going to hell. I don't know. But this short did get pulled and did not air. I think it is, if I remember correctly, it is the only one of the Mickey Mouse Works shorts to not get played in the House of Mouse series. It got pulled entirely. It is online. You can check it out on YouTube. Minnie Takes Care of Pluto is the name of it. And boy, does she really take care of him. Hot Spells. Hot Spells is an episode of Darkwing Duck. This is the 86th episode of Darkwing Duck. It was originally aired on Halloween Day in 1992, and it quickly got pulled from general circulation due to, quote, satanic themes. This one features Beelzebub. I'm not going to go super deep on this one. I'll tell you more about some of these episodes in the next layer, but the reason why this is notable, there are actually 4 Darkwing Duck episodes that got banned after initial airings. But this one is notable because unlike the other 3, all of those other ones were released on VHS or DVD, are available for digital purchase or to watch on Disney+. Hot Spells is the only of the 4 episodes to never be released on VHS or DVD, and is the only episode in Darkwing Duck to be unavailable for digital purchase or to watch on Disney+. So, what's actually weird about it? There's another episode of Darkwing Duck that also features Beelzebub, and it's not pulled. I just don't understand. That character is in both episodes, and that one is fine. So, I don't know. And then our final entry, I have to just tell you, it was on an original Disney Channel Iceberg. I didn't know what it referred to, and it's not like a pulled episode. It's not something super dark. It's just so stupid that I had to keep it. And it's so niche. It should be on the lower half. And that is Cory in the House is the best anime. You may say, I've seen Cory in the House. It's not an anime. And I would say, you're correct. This is an internet meme that people will say, Cory in the House is the best anime. To which led me to say, why? Why do people say that? Often the answer is 4chan, but that's not their answer in this particular case. The reason why people say Cory in the House is the best anime is because there is a YouTube video circa 2007, 2008, which are also the years that Cory in the House is running. The YouTube video was called Top 27 Anime Boobs. And the YouTube video starts with a very quick scene of an animated girl's body and then immediately cuts away from that to a remix of the Cory in the House theme song that's remixed with a Sonic the Hedgehog 2 level theme song and has no other anime boobs. It's like a gotcha video where they're like baiting people to look at a video of boobs, and then instead it's a Cory in the House theme song. So that video existing led to people going, oh, because it's in an anime boob video, this makes Cory in the House the best anime. It is so stupid. But yeah, it is kind of like the original Rickroll. You think you're seeing anime boobs, and instead you see the Cory in the House theme song. And that brings us to the end of our next to last layer, and we move on to the 8th and final layer of our iceberg. Alrighty, it's the last one, The Last Horizons. Now, Last Horizons is the 32nd episode of TaleSpin. I already talked about TaleSpin, right? I talked about Phil Harris, the original voice of Baloo. Last Horizons premiered on November 1st, 1990, and it features Baloo finding the legendary Panda Law, where he is warmly received by Emperor Wan Lo. However, the reception from Emperor Wan Lo turns out to be a ruse, as the people of Pandala plan to attack Cape Suzette, the home of the Tailspin characters. Now, after this episode premieres, it was banned from reruns because of its satirization of World War II, with the Pandala attack on Cape Suzette heavily referencing Pearl Harbor, and unflattering stereotyping of Asian people as panda bears being the people of Pandala. Again, you just read things and you go, why does that exist? Why did they think, you know what I need to do? Insert some casual racism and then create an animated television show featuring Disney characters that heavily references the American tragedy of Pearl Harbor. Why did that get made? One of 2 banned episodes from Tailspin that I'm telling you about today. The second episode, Flying Dupes. Also a Tailspin episode. I don't even have a photo for this one. I'm just here to tell you that this was, hey, this is going to bring us back around. We're going to be full circle here, chat. The 65th and, yes, final episode of Tailspin, Flying Dupes, premiered on August 8th, 1991. In this episode, Baloo was tasked to deliver a package to the Thimbrian High Marshal, and he was unaware that the package contained a bomb. After the premiere of this episode, it was banned from future airings, likely due to themes of terrorism. The heavy hidden bomb terrorism theme got this one banned. They didn't learn their lesson previously. We need to learn it again on the planned final episode of Tailspin. Go out on a controversy. You thought I was going to say bang. That would be insensitive. And let me tell you, a shame. A shame that this happened because it got banned. Because this featured a cameo of Nana from Peter Pan. And you know what that makes me think? As I think about Nana's cameo appearance being banned. Poor Nana. Deadly Force. And for this one, I need to talk to you about the 8th episode of Gargoyles. Y'all like Gargoyles? I love Gargoyles. I thought the aesthetic of this was so cool. As a kid in the 90s, I was hyped up about Gargoyles. And it aired on November 18th, 1994. Just gonna read you the line that came straight from the synopsis, and then I'm gonna give you a little bit more details, where the synopsis says, in this episode, Broadway, one of the gargoyles, accidentally shoots Elisa with her gun. Straight to the point. I'm sorry, what you say? Okay, I'll read more. Then something catches his eye. Elisa's gun in its holster on the coat rack. He takes out the gun and starts playing with it, spouting old Western dialogue in a John Wayne-like voice. He jumps around the apartment, aiming the gun. Elisa's back is to him and she doesn't notice what he's doing, assuming he's just fooling around. Broadway turns toward Elisa when the gun goes off in his hand. He drops it in surprise and begins to apologize. He kneels down to pick up the dropped gun, casually adding, "Hope I didn't break anything." He looks over at Elisa's kitchen and sees that the meal she was preparing is still cooking on the stovetop, but Elisa herself is not visible. Feeling concerned, Broadway calls Elisa's name and walks toward the counter that's obscuring his view. As he carefully approaches, he's horrified to discover Elisa lying on the floor in a pool of blood, not moving. This episode was initially pulled from rotation, but I know you all were concerned thinking, we need this episode. We need more content about gun safety in our Gargoyles television. And so while it was initially pulled from rotation, I'm thrilled to tell you it was later allowed to be re-aired with a censorship edit. And by a censorship edit, all they did was remove the blood from her body when she got shot. So now I'm happy to tell you that you can still get shot, but if you do, you won't bleed at all. There's no blood. You're probably fine. I just love that they see this episode and they go, well, what needs to be fixed? Oh, the pool of blood. Everything else is okay, but let's get rid of the pool of blood. Oh, sorry. I meant to show you this picture. This is where Broadway takes Elisa to get care. But I'm going to give the show credit, which is that in following episodes, I do appreciate continuity here. In following episodes, Elisa will store her gun in a gun safe, which good for her. I appreciate a lesson learned. We've reached the final entry of the Iceberg, and I will tell you, I don't mean to hype it up, but it is my favorite entry of the Iceberg, and it is White Rabbits Can't Jump. Now, for me to talk about White Rabbits Can't Jump, we first just need to talk about Adventures in Wonderland. Adventures in Wonderland is a live action / puppet TV series, and it was broadcast from 1992 to 1995. It was set in the 90s, set in modern times, right? And it revolved around a little girl named Alice. She would be living in suburbia. She was just in her home. She would have some problem that she would talk to her cat Dina about, and then she would travel to Wonderland through the power of her magical mirror to find solutions to the problems that she was facing. This show featured very colorful sets and costumes, kind of modernization of the Alice characters that you know and love, such as the Hatter and the March Hare, the Red Queen, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and of course the White Rabbit. It was also, fun fact, partially filmed, like 40 episodes or so, were filmed at MGM Studios. And at one time, if you took the backlot tour, you could see the production of Adventures in Wonderland. The cast was very notable musical theater performers because there was a lot of singing and dancing that was present. They wanted the vibe of this show to be as energetic as animated television, so there was a lot of song and dance breaks, multiple songs per episode, and the show ran for 100 episodes. So it broke that 65 episode rule, and if you are interested in watching Adventures in Wonderland, you can watch 99 of them on Disney Plus right now. There's one of them that you can't watch. The planned 99th episode, the next to last episode they were producing, was being filmed in 1993. It was an episode by the name of White Rabbits Can't Jump. It was notable for featuring a guest appearance from an actor. In fact, this show is very popular. It had a lot of success, and they leaned on the popularity that the show had with celebrities' children and with celebrities that wanted to be associated with it to bring on celebrities very regularly. And the 99th episode was meant to feature a guest celebrity, and it was created in 1993. The plans for this show were to release it the following year in the final season, which were then halted immediately because the guest appearance was planned to be none other than one O.J. Simpson, who in 1994 on June 17th was arrested for alleged murder. So they filmed this episode, before he was the alleged murderer. They're planning to release it, and then he gets arrested and they go, well, guess we can't do that anymore. The storyline of this episode is that the White Rabbit is hesitant to participate in the Wonderland games, but the White Rabbit's hero is O.J. Simpson, and he imagines O.J. Simpson coming and hyping him up to participate in the Wonderland games. Now, how do I know that? Well, because chat, this episode, weirdly, is one of only 2 episodes out of 100. They made 2 episodes into books. And this episode happens to be one of the 2 episodes that got made into a book. It was released prior to the episode releasing and prior to the O.J. Simpson being arrested for alleged murder tragedy of those deaths. You can buy this, and it does give a detailed account of what would happen in the episode that we never saw, including what I love, this quote that I am obsessed with. Suddenly, the poster came to life. "Wow, O.J. Simpson, it's really you," cried the White Rabbit, "right here in my room." "Actually, I'm not really here," O.J. said. "I'm just in your imagination. But why don't you tell me what your problem is anyway? Maybe I can help." And that's the end of our Disney Channel Iceberg. And we end it with O.J. Simpson maybe giving advice to the White Rabbit for how to kill someone. Perhaps he gave advice to Minnie Mouse as relation to Pluto. Who knows?